Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at Citadels. This is published by Z-Man Games. This is a large player count game. It goes between 2 to 8 players, and it has a lot of different modules inside of it from the different expansions that came out for Citadels. So this is sort of like a complete box set of that. So let's go ahead down the table here. I'll give you a brief overview of how the game plays, and then we'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so this is Citadels, and this Citadels here is a version that has additional characters you can pick for each of the numeric values. I do have this a little bit out of order here, but you're going to pick between numbers 1 through 8 or numbers 1 through 9 depending on the player count. And you're either going to pick this for the starting game. They have specific ones they want you to pick, or you can actually draft which ones you want to use for the game. But in the end, you're going to pick, let's say we're going to do the 8. So we're going to pick, so that's be 1, 2, this will be our third one, 7, 5, that'll be 6, 7, 6, 5, 1, 8. So I need a 2, and I will need a 4, which will make the Emperor. Emperor's always 4. All right. So what you're going to do is you'll have these, and then you're going to find the tokens that match these, and you'll place them out so everyone can see which tokens are available, or which cards are available throughout the game. You can also have some of these, and these will come into effect with certain ones of these lords. And there's, like I said, there's a ton to pick from. Some are meaner than others, some are kinder than others, so it depends on how aggressive you want this game to be. But this game is a highly interactive game with lots of things happening. And the goal of the game is going to be to get the most points at the end of the game. You're going to do this by putting out districts that you're creating. You can have 2 of the same name districts, but you can have up to 7 districts. Once you can actually technically have more than 7 districts, but once 7 districts is hit, the game ends. And then the person with the most points wins. Well, you're going to look at these districts, and the points are worth is how much gold they cost to put down. Also, to start the game, you see how this has this unique little symbol down the bottom. You're going to pick 14 of these, either randomly or use the startup setup and select out those specific ones, and you'll shuffle these into the deck. So again, how end game scoring is going to work is you're going to look and add up these coins for points. You're going to also take a look at any of the buildings and see if the buildings add points. You will also, if you're the first one to complete 7 districts, will get 4 points, and anyone else that can complete districts before it ends will get 2 points each. If you have one of each of the districts, which I believe there is going to be 5 different districts, so if you have one of each of the districts, you will also get an additional 3 points. And some of the unique districts, like I said before, let's see if I can pull one up. Actually, I have the pile right here. Will have at end game scoring too. So, and the person with the most points there will win. All right, so how do you play the game? Well, so now that we have our deck, and now that we choose our 1 through 8 lords, now again you could have 9 depending on the player count. You're going to look at your player count, and you're going to decide or figure out which way this drafting is going to work. Sometimes cards are going to be face up. So in a 4-player game, what's going to end up happening is you're going to have 2 cards at the end face up and 1 card face down. So you're going to know 2 cards that no one has, and 1 card's going to be a mystery. So the way this is going to work is the one person will be the king, they're going to take a look at their hand of cards and pick one, put it face down. Then it's going to go to the next player. They're going to pick one, put it face down, and so on. And if it, like I said, if it's 4 players, there'll be 2 face up and 1 face down at the end. If it's 7 players, you're only going to have 1 face down. If you're using 8 cards, if you're using 9 cards, you'll have, again, just 1 face down. All right. Well, you'll have, yeah. So once everyone has done that, what they're going to do is in turn order, the king, current king, will call out, not in turn order, we'll call out a number, and they'll say like 1. Whoever has 1 will be able to take their turn. They have an ability on there that fires off, and on their turn, you get this nice little handy dandy sheet right here, but on your turn, you're going to first gather resources, and you're going to either gain 2 gold from the bank. You actually start the game with 2 gold, but you can gain another 2 gold, or you can draw 2 district cards. You don't have any district cards, draw 2 district cards, and then you can build a district card paying its cost. So here, if I have 4 gold, I wouldn't be able to build this, but I could build the manor, and I could pay 3, and that would go out into my playing area. I could also skip this and just keep the gold and keep on going, and then you can use the character ability, and some of them might involve people losing their turns or destroying stuff or stealing gold or other really cool things that can happen that are, some people consider vicious. But anyway, then the king will say 2, and whoever has 2 will play their card. This is the thief. This one's the one that steals gold. Then 3, then 4, and then so on. One thing that's always included in all the games is 4, because whoever's the emperor is going to gain this crown. So that's how the first player can change around. Once that round ends, the cards are shuffled up, and these cards are shuffled up, and the emperor starts the next round. And this will continue on and on until someone has 7 districts out. And then at the end of that round, the game ends. And again, the person with the most points wins. Now, this is a very oversimplified overview of the game, but that's basically it. I mean, if you're going to teach the game, you could just say those things. They could start their game and have a lot of fun. They're going to learn what these are, and I highly recommend before your first game, whichever ones you pick out and have, you just read off each one and say them so that people know what they are. There's also, they could pick up the rule book, and each of them are explained. So on their turn, if they don't want to give any information away, they could take a look and read in the rule book what these are. And that's what also helps having these tokens out, so they can know what can be. And like I said, some of these are very, very vicious. Like the thief here, you call a character you wish to rob. So it can't be 1. So it has to be like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever number. And it is possibility that no one is that character. But when that character is called, then you will fire off your ability, and you take all their gold. So an assassin, that's the mean one I'm talking about, call a character you wish to kill. That character skips their turn. So you could say 2. And if someone picked 2, then they die. So you can see how some of these can be really, really mean. Gather resources, call a character you wish to bewitch. Then put your turn on hold. After the butch character gathers their resources, you may resume their turn as their character. So that's pretty cool. Warlord, I'll show you another one here. Warlord, destroy 1 district by paying 1 fewer gold than its cost. Gain 1 gold for each militaristic district you have. This one's a good one to keep people from, getting to that 7th district faster than you would like them to. There's also another one here that helps really build with, I think it's the navigator. Gain 4 extra gold or 4 extra cards. You can't build any districts. There's one in here that is really good for building. Where is it? It's not the artist. Anyway. Oh, maybe it's over here. Is it diplomat? All right. Anyway, there's one that lets you build 2 districts in a round instead of 1. But yeah, so you can see these all have really neat powers. And basically, again, that's how the game works. You'll get 2 coins to start out the game. You're going to try to build your districts throughout the game. You're going to try to get these bigger districts down. Some districts will prevent you from being allowed to have them destroyed. You may want to get if the assassins in the game, you may want to try to prevent the warlord from ever firing off to protect your districts, because you just want to build a couple more to finish up. You become targets for having your buildings down, depending on what you're trying to do. So if you have a lot of militaristic districts on there, people probably will draft this card away from you or kill it or do something to you to prevent you from getting the bonus on the bottom. There's other similar ones, like the Emperor right here. You get 1 gold for each noble district. So if someone sees you have a lot of noble districts, they're probably going to assume that you're going to try to go after the Emperor. So a lot of things to think about. Most everything is basically everything you need to know while you're playing the game is on this card, which is really, really nice and really nicely laid out. So really good for that. All right, let's go ahead back up to the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts on Citadels. Okay, so I really like Citadels. I try to do the rules there from my head because I've played it a lot, but I did forget one thing. You're supposed to start with 4 cards and 2 coins, not just 2 coins. That's very important because that gets you started putting out your cities. The game itself is known as a very mean game, and it is. So there's a lot of take that and player interaction in it, but it's more of strategic deduction take that. So you can't directly say player A, I'm targeting you. You have to think, is player A going to be character whatever, and then call that out and do your whatever your ability that you pick to do something mean to them is. So there is a lot in this game in having to disguise what you're doing. So you can't be completely transparent, which I love a lot. So I know that it can be a problem for some players because they want to do that strategy, and it's hard to understand that like someone's just going to mess with that strategy. So you have to do a couple different strategies and like move them around and keep other people guessing so that you can get your 7th building, or at least have really high point buildings by the end of the game. So I really, really love that. I really love how they added all the different characters you can pick from now. Instead of just having 1, you have like 3 now. So that makes a really big difference in this game. When you have all those different ones you can pick from, you can do like the starter set for people just coming in and playing the game. You can change them up. You can draft them. You can have people pick. There is a kind version on every single one, so you could actually play a kind game of Citadels. So if you have a group that likes high player interaction games, they're okay with getting their plans a little destroyed during the game a little bit, then Citadels is definitely a game you want to check out. So that's my thought on Citadels. Thank you for watching.